Hello viewers, another beautiful day or night. Yep. Hope your five senses work, health and strength is good or excellent. Good. Look, I was the I said the Steam Deck had the best button layout when it comes to handhelds. I was the first person to say that. And to see this article here from on MSN. Listen to this. Three ways the Steam Deck is still better than the Asus ROG Ally X. Says the Steam Deck trackpad offers more flexibility for gaming input than the ROG Ally X. Limited options. I said the Steam Deck was the best has the best button layout. This handheld. When it first came out, I was the first person on YouTube that said it. The Steam Deck has the best button layout of any handheld. And I told you that Valve nailed it when they built it like this. Yeah. And now to see MSN talking about this, says here, okay, the Steam Deck trackpad offers more flexibility for gaming input than the ROG Ally X limited option. Steam OS software provides a console-like experience, while ROG Ally X still runs Windows, which is lousy for handhelds. And then it says Steam Deck fast suspend/resume features allow for seamless gameplay, a unique advantage over other handheld devices. Says here, Asus took our wish list for the Asus ROG Ally and turned it into a reality by way of the ROG Ally X. It's true that the new ROG Ally X isn't a direct ROG Ally successor, namely because it uses the same AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme chipset. However, the company fixed just about everything we hated about the original handheld, adding double the battery capacity, a second USB port, more memory, better ergonomics. I love my time with the ROG Ally X, but I also recently bought a Steam Deck. There are a few key ways that Valve gaming handheld blows Asus offering out the water. Yeah. Says here, I have the LCD version of the Steam Deck, so the OLED screen isn't one of the reasons I enjoy using the handheld more than the ROG Ally X at times. That's fine, because the display battle between the Steam Deck OLED and the ROG Ally X is a complete toss-up. Sure, the Steam Deck has an OLED panel, but it also has a lower resolution than the ROG Ally X and lacks variable refresh rate support on the inbuilt screen. Neither option trounces the other in terms of display quality. It's simply a question of what matters more, OLED or resolutions and VRR. Says here, the Steam Deck OLED dropped by surprise recently, and it's a fantastic handheld that's more than just a screen upgrade. Says instead, there are three small Steam Deck characteristics that makes the gaming handheld experience so much more enjoyable. Consider these points before you go out and buy a new ROG Ally X, because they might sway you. It says trackpads. It says they are so useful for when the touchscreen or controller buttons don't cut it. It says visually, there's a big difference between the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally X. The former includes two trackpads on each side of the display that can be used for an assortment of function, kind of like touchscreen era on a PlayStation DualSense controller. This is crucial because there are times when you may need to use the traditional mouse and keyboard input on your gaming handheld. On the Steam Deck, you can use the trackpad for that. When you're using the ROG Ally X, your only options are the touchscreen, the controllers, and the on-screen keyboard. Says here, at basic level, the trackpads on the Steam Deck feels like using a touchpad or a trackpad on a laptop. However, they can become more than that with a bit of customization. You can map each trackpad to support up to 16 swipes gestures that can be doubled if you use another macro like the rear pedals as a shifter. This is fantastic for games that don't natively support controller inputs and thus might not work as well out of the box with the Steam Deck. Put simply, the Steam Deck trackpads are its secret weapon that can give users far more flexibility than the ROG Ally X offers. Yeah, I said it from day one when they came out with the Steam Deck, and I looked at the button layout. They nailed it. I said that was the best button layouts on any handheld. My statement still stands. Anyway, it says Steam OS. The Steam Deck has a software that makes it feels like a console, and that's a good thing. It says, before trying out the Steam Deck, I thought it was a given that PC gaming handheld users had to fight with a desktop operating system at least once or twice before firing up a game. That certainly was my experience using the original ROG Ally, and I had many battles with Windows 11. Unfortunately, the Asus ROG Ally X still run Windows, and the OS optimization for handhelds or touch first device isn't any better. It says, plagued by Windows related problems and quality control issues, the ROG Ally is a fantastic device that's hard to recommend currently. However, Valve still has the best gaming handheld software on the planet. In SteamOS, you can use a Steam Deck for months or years and never see the desktop view of Valve Linux distro. It feels like a true console, more akin to a Nintendo Switch, Xbox, or PlayStation than a typical gaming PC. For many, that's exactly what they want from a gaming handheld, and it's a reason to go out and buy a Steam Deck over an ROG Ally X. The saga continue, folks. Then it says here, fast suspense / resume. You can jump right back into games on the Steam Deck. It says, Valve has managed to deliver excellent hardware and software integration on the Steam Deck, and there's no better example of that than fast suspense / resume. I called it quick resume because it works functionally identical to the Xbox feature of that name. When you press the power button, the Steam Deck will suspend the game you currently run. Then, if you press the power button again, it will resume that game and throw you right back into where you left off. Yeah, like I said, you Steam Deck fans, you're spoiled. Anyway, it says here, let me give you an anecdote that explains why this is my favorite Steam Deck feature. I was playing Grand Theft Auto 5 online on the Steam Deck and decided to put the handheld down to go to do something else. If you've ever played GTA Online before, you'll know it really doesn't like when you idle in an online multiplayer session. Somehow, when I came back to my Steam Deck days later, pressing the power button launched me right back into my GTA Online game. Yes, I did end up getting kicked shortly after, but I was able to resume a days-old multiplayer session in seconds on the Steam Deck. You won't get that experience anywhere else in PC gaming handhelds. Yeah. It says, then he says, another subtopic. So which should I buy? A Steam Deck over the Asus ROG Ally X? Question mark. It says, now, this isn't to say that you should immediately choose the Steam Deck or Steam Deck OLED instead of the ROG Ally X. As an avid fan of Fortnite, I am quick to remind buyers looking for a gaming handheld that the Linux-based Steam Deck is incompatible with certain anti-cheat software. It's also important to remember that the Asus ROG Ally X with the Ryzen Z1 Extreme and 24 gigs of RAM will beat the Steam Deck OLED in terms of performance. But if you want a console-like experience, all else, the Steam Deck might be the better buy. And that is that. But he's forgetting something though. You can upgrade the Steam Deck LCD RAM to 32 gigs of RAM. Oh yeah, and Valve got some updates for that. Because when the modders jumped on that, when the modders exposed that you can upgrade the Steam Deck to 32 gigs, Valve followed it up with some updates. So yeah, you can do that. So yeah, the Steam Deck 64 gig, 256 LCD, 256 gig, 512, or the is no pushover, or the OLED model, 512 and 1 terabyte. Yeah, but that Steam OS, man, yeah, it's really good. And plus the way they have the buttons, the way it's laid out, where you have the buttons, deep analog stick, touchpad, and then D-pad, analog stick, touchpad, and then analog stick, buttons, touchpad. The way they have it laid out, it's perfect for gaming, man. So yeah, every handheld that comes out has to compete with that, man. So the Steam Deck, like Valve with the Steam Deck, they set themselves apart from the competition, man. So yeah, the Steam Deck is no pushover, man. But the Asus ROG Ally is good. Make no mistake about that. This is pretty good. But it's just that you're dealing with Steam OS and you're dealing with the button layout and all the features it comes with, man. So yeah, the handheld is no joke, man. and they're constantly like updating it any given hour, any given day. So yeah, when the ROG Ally X came out, I'm sure they fixed some things, that's for sure. But they forgot an OLED screen. That's a huge blow to it too. You know, when it comes to the ROG Ally X. You know? Yeah. When the Steam Deck came out, you had the Nintendo fans. They were trying to focus on the battery life, but the Steam Deck Valve with the Steam Deck kept pushing along, kept coming out with updates, and the 64 gig model Steam Deck was better than the Switch, hands down. You know, so when they were trying to attack the Steam Deck, you know, Valve was listening, but then they followed it up, and yeah, they haven't looked back since. So yeah, man, this thing, we couldn't find a game the Steam Deck couldn't run, man. This thing gets updates. Yeah, the 64 gig model, you need 2 terabyte SSD. The 256 gig model, you need a 2 terabyte SSD. The 512 gig model, you need a 2 terabyte SSD. The same goes for the 512 OLED. The same goes for the 1 terabyte OLED. Because updates come in at any given hour, any given day. And it's like non-stop, man. Yeah. So you got to do that, man. And then you be good to go. I mean, the Asus ROG is still good. Don't make no mistake. It's still a good handheld. Still a good handheld, but they got some work to do on Windows. That's for sure. They got Microsoft got some work on Windows that they need to get done. You know, if they're trying to get it up to the level of the Steam OS. You know, in terms of gaming functionality and usability. But people out there are gonna still like the Asus ROG Ally, and they're gonna like the ROG Ally X, or they might like the Lenovo Legion Go, or they might love the MSI Claw. You know, it suits their needs. Or they might love the Logitech G Cloud, or they might love the Odin, or they might like the OXZO, they might like the ANEO, the 1X, the GPD, yeah, or the GP10 with that 10, was it like 10 inch screen? Yeah, so they're all good, man. So can't forget that. You know, it all comes down to the users, though. It all comes down to the users, you know, what they prefer. and what's comfortable to them. Yeah. Oh yeah. They're all good handhelds, man. And then there's Antec now with their handheld with the sliding screen. So plus it has a keyboard where the GPD has the sliding keyboard. The Antec handheld, it comes with the keyboard, but now it has the sliding screen. So yeah. And the good thing about it, PC gamers got, they got choices when it comes to handhelds. I mean, they still can game on their laptop and their desktop if they want to, but now them handhelds give them choices, man. So yeah, but yeah, Steam Deck is no pushover though. Make no mistake about it. Yeah. The other handhelds that they might come with more, more power, but Valve handheld, it's pretty good. Yeah. Anyway, man, that's my thoughts on the whole thing, though. That's my thoughts on the whole thing. And yeah, sure, people got their own experience, with different handhelds that they have used. So with these handhelds, they just have choices in what they want. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video for y'all to enjoy. Nice talking to you people again. Crystal Star Wars Star Trek. Go. Peace.